Hello, Smith Transport. Today we wanted to spend a little time talking about the upcoming ELD mandate and how we as a company are handling it. As you may or may not know, the ELD mandate takes effect December the 16th of 2019. Of course, we're proactive in all we do. So we're not waiting to the last day to become compliant. We've already started rolling out the ELDs in many of our tractors. We have started the process of rolling out in three ways. First of all, drivers coming in through orientation will automatically be switched over to ELDs from the AOBRDs. Secondly, every driver who does coaching down in safety will be flipped from the system from the ELDs, from the AOBRDs to the ELDs. And then thirdly, as drivers are trained on the Infinity online training system, once the training is complete, you'll be contacted by a member of safety, and after that conversation and training, then your tractor will be flipped from the AOBRDs to the ELDs. You'll find that there are very few changes between the AOBRDs and the ELDs, and we'll talk about those on our online Infinity training. If you've not completed that training, I encourage you to do so. If you're unaware how to log on to the Infinity online training, please give us a call in the safety department and we will instruct you and walk you through that process. When it comes to the ELD mandate, the ELD mandate was birthed from a bit of legislation called MAP 21. MAP 21 came into play in 2012. Since 2012, pieces of MAP 21 has been unfolding a little bit at a time. CSA, as we know it, and the 7 basics, they were birthed out of MAP 21. Another bit of legislation was electronic logs. They're also called AOBRDs. The electronic logs, they allowed for the electronic tracking of hours of service or records of duty status, also known as RODs. The records of duty status kept electronically, it was meant to take pressure off the driver and allow for an easier way to manage and monitor a driver's hours of service. As you know, and as all of us know, there are loopholes. Under the paper logs, many of us, for many years, we would hold 2 or maybe 3 logbooks. And there are ways of getting around the system. Under the electronic logs, what the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration did was they tightened the reins and they allowed some of those loopholes to be closed, but it still left much to be desired. The new ELD mandate, what it simply does is it closes more of those loopholes. Those loopholes are going to be tight, and it's going to be imperative that we comply, because failure to comply on the ELD mandate, it can render you out of service for 10 hours. It can drive up our hours of service CSA rating, and it could damage your record as a driver. Full compliance is not an option. The ELD mandate, it will be introduced, and as some of you will start receiving calls, and some of you have already received calls, we ask that you work with us diligently to meet full compliance. If there are questions, we're here to help. The online training walks you through step by step of everything you need to know in order to log on and be fully compliant. We already have some of our tractors that are ELD compliant. And Jessica's going to talk about some of the things that we see in those tractors that have already been converted.
Hi everyone, this is Jess from Safety. Just wanted to go over a few things with you. One of the things is the ELD checklist, okay? We want to make sure that we are certified and we are using regulation compliant ELD, which we are. OmniTrax is certified, so I don't have any worries there. We also have to make sure that we have at least 8 days of paper logs in your truck. If you do not have a logbook, please make sure that you see one of the terminals so we can get a logbook to you. Another thing is the ELD user manual, and that's available on the Qualcomm under training. And the other one is the instruction sheet, which is the cab card. It's the laminated sheet, and that is available online through TransFlow, and it's also available on the Smith Transport site as well. We encourage you when you stop through the terminals to come in and see us so we can make sure that you have a cab card in hand just in case there's any issues with your Qualcomm, that we're compliant in case you would happen to get pulled over. Currently, right now, we have 150 drivers that are on the ELD setting, and we are trying to get everyone switched over by October 1st to make sure that we're fully compliant before the cutoff date of 12/16 of 19. One of the problems that I'm seeing with the drivers that are currently on the ELD setting is the creep mode. As you know, before on the AOBRD setting, you were able to creep as long as it was under 2 miles and less than 25 miles per hour. On the ELD side, you are unable to creep. If you move at all, it's going to put you on the drive line. So what I'm seeing is drivers are moving a little bit and it's interrupting their break, which in turn is giving them hours of service violations. So you have to make sure you're being very careful when you're moving. You have to make sure that your break is over, and whenever you move, it's going to put you on the drive line. And once that happens, we are unable to change your log. With the new changes, we have to remember that we're also using personal conveyance in a proper manner since we are unable to creep. So the personal conveyance rules and regulations, some of them are going from point A to point B back to point A. And also, if you're at a shipper or receiver and you run out of time and you are unable to park there, you may use personal conveyance to get to the nearest safe location, even if it's in the opposite direction of your next destination. Keep in mind, we only have an hour of personal conveyance that can be used per day. Please do not try to use personal conveyance to advance your location, as that is against the rules and regulations. Eric?
Let me also say that one of the items that we've heard loud and clear from many of our professional drivers is yard move. As a department, we're currently looking at yard move and we're monitoring exactly how to roll that piece out. We've not yet rolled it out. We're looking at it in the very near future. We would like to hear from you. We're looking at the scenarios of various customers and various shippers and exactly how that can be used properly without mass compliance issues. So please be patient with us as we work on the yard move item and iron out the rough spots for that. Let me be perfectly clear. These items are not Smith Transport mandated issues. These are federal government mandated issues. Every trucking company in America, they're wrestling with the same ELD mandate, and they're working to meet full compliance, just as we are. If you have any questions or concerns, we want to hear from you, because you will have to abide by these regulations and you'll use them every single day. So if you have questions or if you have concerns, it doesn't matter how big or how small, we want to make sure that we answer those. We'll do about 3 more of these before the final compliance date of December the 16th. And as we do them, we will be answering your questions. You can submit your questions by sending us information via email. The email address is right here on the screen. You can also send us questions on the macro. The macro is here as well. Or you can give us a call at the number on the screen. Make sure that if you send in the question, give us your name, your driver code, and your truck number, so that we can reply to you directly with the questions and answers, and we will put those questions and answers on a frequently asked questions list that we're compiling, and we'll distribute it out to all of the fleet and in-house employees. I cannot state how important it is for us to be in full compliance with the upcoming ELD mandate. As I said before, we're proactive in all we do. We don't wait to get ready, we stay ready. And this is no different. If you're not compliant, make sure that you understand that it is not optional. You will be shut down. Next week is Brake Check Safety Week. During that week, you'll be asked questions such as, are you on an AOBR, an automatic onboard recorder, or are you ELD compliant? You need to know the answers to that question. The cards that Jessica discussed, it is specific to either an AOBRD or an ELD. If you give the officer the wrong information, then the officer can write you up as a violation in that inspection. Also, Officers will be required to look for 8 days of clear paper logs, as Jessica mentioned. If you don't have 8 days of logs currently, stop at the nearest truck stop, purchase you a logbook until you can get back to Smith and get Smith-specific logs. That is vitally important. Even if you hadn't used a paper log in a month of Sundays, as my grandpa used to say, you're still required to have them on your tractor, and you must be able to locate them if requested by an inspector. I want to tell you that we've done an excellent job, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Of working towards compliance. We're well ahead of the curve. A few weeks ago, I attended the Great American Truck Show in Dallas, Texas. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration had a listening session, and there were hundreds of professionals and drivers from the trucking industry that asked 2 hours of questions to the individuals that are laying out this law, MAP 21. Some of the questions that were asked were, what happens if I'm on the sleeper and I need to go and weigh a load? Well, the answer to questions like that is it's never been legal. It was not legal under paper logs, it was not legal under the ELDs, and it will not be legal under the new mandate. This is what we mean by closing some of the loopholes that once allowed us to do some things that may have been right on the line or a little across it. But we're going to work together to make sure that everyone understands what needs to be done, and we will reach success together. Again, if you have any questions or concerns that you'd like for us to address or consider, please send them to the Safety Department here in Roaring Springs and let us get to work on them. Thanks to the Safety Executive Committee team and the Presidential Advisory Committee for all the work that they've done to help us to get ready for this ELD mandate. We look forward to talking to you again as the situation and the progress unfolds. We are 158 drivers there. We've got a long way to go, as Smokey and the Bandit said, and a short time to get there. We're going to work towards it, and once again, we will do what we do all the time, and that is be one of the first to reach compliance. Thanks for all you do. We'll talk to you soon.